Hi, everyone. Welcome to session B. You are at the panel session for four-year, two-year transfer and technical programs. I'm Melinda Breeze. I'm one of the counselors here at Sammamish High School. We have two people presenting with us today. We have Will Smith presenting from Lake Washington Institute of Technology. We also have Chris Mount, who may be having a little bit of technical difficulties, so he'll be on with us soon, presenting for us or with us for Seattle Central College. So, Will, do you want to start out just by telling us a little bit about Lake Washington Tech families? By the way, you can type any questions you have in the chat, and we'll answer them as we go. And then I also have some questions that I ask of our presenters. Okay, Will, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming to this session. We're really excited to have you all and be able to share some information with you, parents and all students. Again, I'm Will Smith. I'm the Outreach and Recruitment Coordinator at the Lake Washington Institute of Technology. We're a school based in Kirkland, right by the Totem Lake area, if you're familiar with that. We are a community college like the other 34 in the state. We're a little bit more specific, and we're a technical community college. So there's 6 of us. Us maybe the closest one to the Bellevue School District area. Next to that would be Renton Technical College. But we really focus on getting students that hands-on training so that once they leave the school, whether it's a certificate, a 2-year degree, 4-year degree, they're ready to go get a job. We also work really specifically with getting students as a stepping stone of coming to us, doing 2 years at LW Tech, and then transferring off to a different university. So we do it all. We even have some bachelor degree options. So a lot of variety over here at LW Tech.
Thanks, Will. And then Chris, do you want to tell us a little bit about Seattle Central?
Oh, sure. Thank you. A lot of variety. I like that imagery. That's good. And that's so true. Of all 34 of the community colleges, there really is a lot of variety. Many of us, I think most of us offer a lot of overlap in kinds of the academic programs. But yeah, in the professional technical programs, we all offer something a bit different. And that can be a really great value for anybody on the call or anybody you know who is looking for a quality program at an affordable price. So definitely keep all 34 of us in mind with that. So I work at Seattle Central. I'm the director for admissions at Seattle Central. And basically we're right in Capitol Hill, at the streetcar right next to the Capitol Hill light rail stop as well. And we have these branch campuses around the city. So we have the Wood Tech campus and the Maritime campus, and then the same district as South Seattle and North Seattle. And they have especially South is really into the apprenticeship program. So I think the big thrust is if you think about the differences between like who we are, like what is a community college or a technical college in general, we're really set up to meet the needs of students to have more of a career focus, but really high quality, super high quality, hands-on is what we keep saying over and over and over. And I think you're going to hear about that all evening, that hands-on element.
Thank you, Chris. All right, so reminder to families, please feel free to put questions in the chat. The first question I'm going to ask both of you is, what is the difference between technical college and a typical community college?
Yeah. So I'll talk about the technical side since LW Tech is a technical college and Seattle Central is a community college, a quote unquote typical community college, for lack of better terms. So at a technical college, again, we're all about hands-on training, just like some of the other community colleges are. We really like to focus on that. So we don't have really traditional classrooms. If you're a bakery student, your classroom is the bakery. If you're a dental hygiene student, your classroom is the dental clinic. The way we develop our curriculum is a little different. So we actually have to go out to all the industries in our local area and ask them what is in demand now. What positions are you wanting and what skills do they need to learn? From there, we build our curriculum. So we go out and reach out to Microsoft. They'll tell us, hey, we need more developers. We'll build a computer science course, and then we have to present it back to them. Say, hey, if a student did all these courses and got this degree, would you hire them? If they say yes, then we submit it to the state board for certification and through all the accreditation agencies. If they say no, we have to go back and keep retweaking it until we get that thumbs up. And that's how we build all of our programs. And it kind of what we offer is based on that, what the local companies and groups around this region are asking for. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I like that because what Will describes actually is the case. And I've heard that before from some colleges, and I'm like, yeah, I know what you guys are doing. That's really not it at all. But what Will describes actually is it. And I've seen this happen with the community and technical colleges where literally there's a big proposal and it's long and it goes to the state board and they like a required piece of that is the input from the business leaders. There's actually even some input from other education leaders around the state. I mean, these proposals are really in depth. And so I had the opportunity to see one for computer science, and it was solid. It's like 30 some pages long. I was like, this is a well thought out program. So this really is the way that a lot of our programs are designed, very much focused on careers. We help a lot of students. We have thousands of students who are interested in just basically taking some classes and transferring them up to a different school, maybe a university, for example. But yeah, I still think that the bread and butter of any community or technical college are just those hands-on, career-focused kind of programs that really can supercharge someone's ability to walk into the career that they really want. And that is one of the reasons why you will continue to hear that theme over and over with community and technical colleges. And there are 34 of us around the state. So yeah, lots of options out there.
Thanks to both of you. Okay, the next question is, will all the credits I take at the two-year community colleges and technical colleges transfer to a four-year university if I choose to continue my education? And Chris, I'll go ahead and go back to you to answer that at first.
Yeah, thanks. And as far as the credit transfer, always encourage students look at the school to which you want to transfer them. And that's when people have a really defined path. Folks have asked me, well, will you guarantee that UW will take my class? It's like, well, no, I can't guarantee it. But here's what I can do to make that as likely as possible. And that's really what the community and technical colleges have done is try to create classes with, for example, a course numbering system that's understood, course descriptions that are clear and understood, these agreements back and forth. So yeah, we can never guarantee that a class will be accepted by the next institution, by UW or Washington State or and Pacific Lutheran or wherever, but we can make it very likely. And there's been a lot of thought work done on that. So I think our course descriptions are a lot clearer in the community college system than I've seen at the university level, which is a really good thing for transfer.
Thank you, Chris. Will, same question.
Yeah, like Christy summarized it really well. It always depends on what class you're taking and what institution you're going off to. Generally speaking, those English math classes will transfer over no problem. You start looking at some of the specific classes like will my culinary 102 class transfer over directly? Some yes, some will say no. Again, it all depends. What you can find at a lot of community and technical colleges, though, is we have what's called direct transfer agreements. So these are programs that we design in partnership with those bigger universities for students to take 2 years at the community college level and then transfer 100% all of those credits over to the bigger university, transfer over with that junior status. So you're not going to be a freshman, a sophomore. You can start off with those 2 years of credits and you're good to go. Every community college offers a different level of direct transfer agreements and which universities they partner with. You can find that on all of our websites. We try to make that as clear as possible. So if you're looking at that, you want to make sure all the classes you take will transfer over 100%. Look for those direct transfer agreement programs.
Thank you very much. Okay, so the next question is, what does the application process consist of? And we'll go to you for that first, and then we'll go to Chris.
Yeah, so all 34 community and technical colleges use the same application that's put out from the state board for Washington. Um, it's all done online. It takes about 15 minutes to complete. I believe Chris is about to post a link to it right now, which is great. Thank you. And all we're looking for is basic information, what you're interested in studying. If you don't know 100% what you want to study or you're still on the fence, no worries about that. We're not looking for your grades. We're not looking for extracurricular activities. We don't require you to write an essay. It's just that basic information that you put into that application. You submit it, and you're good to go.
Thanks. Chris, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, very simple process. It really is. Will said 15 minutes. I think that's really about what it takes. And that includes a one-time process where literally students will get a 4-digit passcode to their email. I mean, it's really a simple process. So a lot of folks are used to filling out applications that can take days that are huge. They're in Salesforce or Slate or something like that. And we don't do that. That's not we've tried to make it as easy as possible. And yeah, literally all 34 colleges use the same platform. So it's kind of like a common app for Washington's community and technical colleges. So it is really simple. Most of the colleges don't charge a fee either. Some do, but not a lot. Most of them haven't set that up. So yeah, I mean it's really simple to do this. And if it's taken longer than 15 minutes, call us because so, we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you so much. Okay, so the next question is, how important are SAT and ACT scores in your admission process? And Chris, I'll go to you.
I love this question because I can say they don't mean anything in the process. And it's so cool to be able to say that. 'Cause I remember getting really freaked out because I don't do well in standardized tests. So, I remember saying, oh, I'm limited to these amount of universities. And the cool thing about community colleges and technical colleges is that we're open enrollment. So we're here to serve everybody. We have folks at a lot of colleges who have a PhD, have master's degrees, and they're coming back because they need a particular skill set. And it's funny that I've been asked, oh, well, do you want this, my GRE score, SAT or ACT? No, don't worry about it. So there are some limited instances where we can take a score and it helps out with a certain part of a process that we'll talk about a little later called placement, but it's very limited and basically yeah, it makes no difference whatsoever in admissions, which is really pretty cool.
And Will, would you say that's accurate for Lake Washington Tech as well?
Yeah, Chris summed it up perfectly, especially at LW Tech. We do not care about your SAT, ACT scores when it comes to admission and applying for the school.
And then how do you all access financial aid at your school? And I'll start with you, Will.
Yeah, every school is a little bit different on how they go about the process, but there's a lot of overlap. When it comes to financial aid, you're looking to fill out the FAFSA, which is the federal free application for federal student aid. That's where you can get grants, subsidized loans, all that good stuff. It opens up in October of every year. So seniors, put that on your radar to do. When you're in college, you need to fill this application out every single year. It's a little bit of a process. You need some parent information as well. So it's a good sit down session, maybe an hour or two to get it done. If you don't qualify for the FAFSA, we have what's called the WASPA. That's just the Washington State version. If you don't qualify federally for whatever reason, comma one being maybe your immigration status. Cool thing about living in Washington, we have the same thing offered through the state. So the state will be giving you those grants and those subsidized loans. And it could be for other reasons as well. Chris brought up a great point in the last info session we had of maybe your parents are uncomfortable providing certain tax or financial records or anything like that. So anything that will defer you from doing the federal application, no worries, you can do the state version. So after you fill all that out and then you apply to the school will be looking that up in the federal system or the state system, and then we can see about getting you the grants set aside for that. That's pretty much how it goes all for the 34 community colleges. Chris, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, the only thing that I have to add is I keep wondering, our legislators have approved last year a 1% It's like 1% interest rate on student loans, state student loans. And I keep wondering if that is a WASFA thing, because that's a great rate. You know, inflation's like 9%. A student loan for 1%. Wow, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, the WASFA is really handy. We have a lot, Seattle Central, we have a lot of students who are undocumented. We see this all the time. And so when I was working in Illinois, for example, the answer was, I don't have anything for you. I am so sorry. Here, there is. It's called WASFA. So that's really handy. And you know, like if tax returns aren't an option, or there's there isn't that paperwork from the federal government, or maybe someone is no longer eligible to get FAFSA, and there's some unusual rules with that. The WASFA can be a great option. So that really helps out. I think the vast majority of students who are eligible for financial aid can get it. So that's usually one of our biggest things here at Seattle Central, is trying to get people to apply for financial aid. It's kind of a battle. Only about 1 out of 3 students here apply for it. And what we figured out is most of our students are Pell eligible, so they might as well apply because there's free money on the table. So do keep that in mind. If you're looking at us, we want for somebody else to pay for this for you.
Thank you so much to both of you. I want to add that both Chris and Will are putting up really helpful links in the chat. This one link to the WASFA, there is a hyperlink in this page that lets you do kind of a quick survey to find out if you should be filling out the WASFA or the FAFSA. So that'll help guide where you should go with that. And financial aid is something that people will start applying for in October of their senior year or the year before they head to college. Okay, and you can apply after that, but sooner is always better. Okay, so the next question we have is about placement. So the question specifically is, will I have to take a placement test? And I think in answering that as well, Will and Chris, in our previous session, you also talked about what placement means, right? And how does that impact the classes I take? So Chris, I'll go ahead and start with you, and then Will, you can answer after he does.
Yeah, and thanks, Melinda, for asking about like what does placement mean? Because I think that's an important term. Coming from the university environment, it's like, what is placement? And I had done it at the university level 25 years ago, but it's nonetheless, what is it? All it means is that for placement, that students can benefit from a college level English class or a college level math class. That's all it means. And so, but there are a lot of ways to place. And so it can look complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. It's just, would a student benefit from English Composition 1 and a college level math? So for us, we have like a directed self-placement for English. Sometimes we can take someone's high school GPA in very limited circumstances. There are a lot of ways of doing that. We can take like an AP score, for example. We do that for English, we do that for math. So there are a lot of ways of getting placed, but in math we have something called ALEKS, ALEKS. A lot of the community colleges are using ALEKS. It's a McGraw-Hill battery. Not everybody does. We're trying to move to a self-placement where students literally will place themselves into the math class they think is appropriate. And we've done some quality checks to make sure that students are actually passing these classes and doing a good job. What we found out is that students are getting A's and B's in the classes in which they're placing themselves. So it's been handy. The math self-placement we don't have ready, and we probably won't for another 6 months or so, but and we're going to experiment with it. We're just going to roll it out to a small, limited population. But simply math and English placement is, would you benefit? That's the main question. So it's not a gate. We've deliberately tried to prevent the gatekeeping aspect. We want to just make sure students would benefit.
Thank you. Will, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, just to kind of reemphasize Chris's last point is, we don't care if you're starting in Algebra 1. We don't care if you're starting in the first level of, English, so English 101. We just need to know where you can start so we can best support you, get you in the right class, and then we'll go from there. So whether that's looking at your transcripts, or doing those placement tests and the different couple of varieties. We just want to make sure you're starting off right, but we don't actually care where you start.
Thank you. Okay, so the next question I'm going to ask, and families, just a reminder, any questions you all have, you can put in the chat, and I'll make sure that we ask Chris and Will those questions as well. So the next question I want to ask is, and I'm going to preface this by, when I apply to four-year university, if I apply directly to four-year college from high school, I have to have that minimum of 2 years of world language, right, in order to do that. If I do not take world language in high school, and then I start at community or technical college and I want to transfer to a four-year college, do I need to take that 2 years of world language at community technical college in order to do that? I'll start with you, Will.
Yeah, it's a complex question, unfortunately. Me and Chris, Chris is nodding as well. And it's the dreaded answer of it all depends slash maybe. So it depends on which school you're going to specifically. Some schools like, yep, you need to have that completed before you come to us. Other universities like, oh, you can come into the university, but you still have to get it done depending on what your major program asks for. So if you're coming to the community college level, of course, we're not looking for any language requirements. While you're here, you can do a couple courses to help fulfill that, so you're ready to transfer over. But it all depends. So look at the university that you want to transfer to, look at their admissions page, look at the major program specifically to see what they require. And of course, if you have any questions, you can reach out to your community college's advisor. You can reach out to the advising group at the university, and they can help direct you in the best way. Chris, anything to add to that?
Yeah, that's a great answer, Will. And the only thing I can think of is that the programs that are deliberately set up to transfer, like a direct transfer agreement that's really meant to articulate into a four-year university, those programs tend to give the option of a foreign language, knowing universities like to have that. But yeah, if it's we've been talking a lot about welding. If it's welding, if it's maritime, if it's the funerary science that Lake Washington has, um, chances are there may not actually be room in the curriculum for a foreign language. So I've told some students, think about taking it anyway, because community college classes are really cheap. They're inexpensive. So it's a good place to take it. Think about taking it because it is important to have some of those skills. And frankly, it's a lot easier to learn being younger than being older. So that's the other piece too. But yeah, it's not necessarily required. We don't look at that at the time of admission, for example. Like none of us say, I wonder if Johnny had foreign language in high school. Oh, should we admit this person or not? This conversation's never happened, which is really cool.
Thank you so much. Okay, so the next question is, are there supports for career exploration, job placements, internships, and mentorships? And actually, Will, I'll go ahead and start with you again on that one.
Yeah, so the community college level, we're all about supporting you in the best way possible to get you a job, to get you into that career field that you want to go. So a lot of community colleges will have different support groups, career centers. At LW Tech specifically, we have a career service center, so they'll help you with your resume. They'll help you with interview questions, doing a mock interview. LW Tech, we have a page for jobs that we partner with, or companies we partner with, like Microsoft, Bungie, Boeing, so that they can post those job positions directly to the website that our students can see and apply to. Of course, you can always talk to your professors in the program. They are all, been in the industry. They worked it themselves. So if you have any questions about it, oh, I don't know where exactly when I go, but I really like this topic. They can help guide you in the right way, connect you with their resources that they have outside of the college as well.
Thank you so much. Chris, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, and that is a great answer. And we call ours Career Exploration Center. It's the same thing, same concept. And yeah, there are a lot of businesses that are tied in with community colleges because businesses know they can recruit from us. Um, and we're the kind of place that fill kind of these unique niches that a lot of businesses have. So yeah, definitely. I was thinking about Springboard 8 earlier, which is where literally we got approached by slalom consulting. And so here we have consultants who actually are giving like some mentorship and stuff like that. And it's really like career exploration for a very limited audience. So it's Black and African American men who are a part of that partnership. It's really unique. And it's something that one of our former presidents helped us set up and stuff like that. So, and that's not just here. All of us have something unique that's really cool that somehow intersects with career exploration. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on. It's just a matter of asking, hey, who do I talk to? And it may be in more than one place. There's always an official office, but chances are this rich career conversations are going to continue to happen. So don't think of this as just one place. This is kind of almost like a continuum across the whole experience. And that's something to keep in mind because I didn't expect to see that when I started working in a community college environment. I'm like, in some ways the community colleges are better than the universities at trying to answer that question. So yeah, definitely continue to ask that question because it's a really good one.
Thank you. So we have about 5 minutes left and 2 questions that I want to make sure that we get to. So I'm actually going to flip them and do one before the other. So the first question I want to ask as I scroll up is, what systems of supports are available for students at technical and community colleges and your colleges specifically as well? Academic supports, TRIO, any social emotional supports, mental health supports, and for students with IEPs and 504s. And I'll start with you, Chris.
I'm going to make this really fast because I think Will is more succinct in his answers than I am. So, which I appreciate. And Will gets everything in. My wife calls me tangent boy. So it is really easy to go off on a tangent on this question. If you have an IEP, be sure to talk with the Disability Support Services office. Bring that IEP. That's something they tell me. Bring the IEP. They can use that paperwork because they don't get it automatically from school districts. So they can use that paperwork to help inform the college process. But yeah, all the colleges have this. It falls under Title IV, Title IX, a lot of different federal laws. And so as a result, there's a lot of support here. You're going to see support, formal support through a disability support services office, through different clubs, through usually the student services side will offer support. And then there's some unofficial stuff that happens where people step in. And I've seen that happen, particularly for students who are troubled. Folks will step in to help. So there are a lot of official and even some unofficial support systems out there.
Thank you. Will?
Yeah, love the way you do things, Chris. You give me too much credit out here. I can't quite match the nice little storytelling and rhythm that you put together. Everything Chris said sums it up perfectly. To get maybe a little more specific, to keep an eye out for certain programs, like Chris mentioned, Disability Support Services, DSS, they will help with all the 504, IEPs, physical and neurological conditions that you're going through, all that good stuff. All the community colleges offer tutoring. A lot of the community colleges offer a veterans program to help with that. Workforce development. So for maybe older folks, parents, you're looking to get back into the community college or college in general, take a couple classes, all that stuff. They also can help with things like housing insecurity, food assistance, things like that. Well, then you brought up a great point of TRIO. TRIO is kind of weird. It doesn't quite stand for what you think it is. It's just 3 different things. So if you're a first generation student, student of low income, or a student with disability, TRIO will be a great support of getting you, hey, some extra tutoring, some custom advising, help with the financial side of things. Also kind of just an added layer of support. And then not to mention, I feel like we always overlook this, but community colleges, the class sizes are small, especially compared to bigger universities. So you're going to get a lot of that support with your professors, your classmates, your 1 of 25 kids instead of 1 of 500 kids.
Thank you. And you're both too humble. I'll say that. Okay. Last question, and we just have a minute left, but families, we'll have a 10-minute break before session B and session C. And so we'll answer this last question, and then I think it's okay, Chris and Will, if I speak for you both, that we'll stay just a couple minutes more before going into break if any of you have any questions. So the last question I want to ask for you both before we ask anybody else if they have questions is, can I earn a professional certificate in some areas like construction or manufacturing or computer technology, etc.? Will, I'll start with you.
Yeah, to give you the brief answer, yes, absolutely. All the community colleges offer some type of certificate. LW specifically, we have 41 different programs of study. Within that, we have 83 different certificates. So whether you're just coming for one course or you're coming for a couple courses, we have certificates to cover it all. And I know South Central operates kind of the same way.
Yeah, Chris, do you want to speak to that? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm glad certificates are great because we talk a lot about these things called stackable certificates. So the idea that they literally start to stack on top of each other. And so someone might come back for a 6-month certificate, a year-long certificate. All of a sudden that can roll into an entire 2-year program. Often, not in every case, but a lot of them are built that way. So the idea is this progression. Folks dip their toes in and go, oh, I like this. Let me go get some real world work experience and come back, finish this out. And so it's really this nice kind of almost a yin and yang between work and the education, the applied hands-on education side. So you'll hear a lot about that term stackable certificates. Everybody's run with it. It's kind of a catchphrase these days. Like I've seen where the community colleges have actually really made that happen. So yeah, and there are tons of them. I mean, literally the majority of our programs across the district have some sort of certificate equivalent that we can bring in.
Fantastic. Thank you.